Welcome back, everyone. Ready for another deep dive?
Always.
Awesome. Today, we're heading to Colombia, to the heart of Latin pop, to unpack the stories of two icons, Shakira and Karol G.
Oh, I love them both. This will be fun.
I know, right? They've both had incredible careers, top charts, broken records.
And barriers.
Exactly. But there's this question that keeps coming up. Are they rivals? Is it a passing of the torch situation? Or is it something else entirely?
Well, it's interesting because right off the bat, there are some pretty fascinating parallels between them.
Like what?
Well, for starters, they're both from Colombia.
True. And didn't they both start in music really young?
Yeah, like crazy young. Shakira was writing songs at 8 years old, performing as a teenager.
Wow, that's dedication.
And Karol G wasn't far behind. She was on the X Factor in Colombia when she was only 16. Then she went on to study music.
So they both had that early passion for music, even though they took different paths.
Totally. It makes you wonder if there's something in the water in Colombia, right?
Huh? Maybe. But I think their individual journeys are just as interesting as their similarities. Shakira, for example, she kind of exploded onto the global scene in the late 90s.
Oh, for sure. She had this really unique sound, blending Latin pop and rock, and it just resonated everywhere.
Remember? Whenever, wherever. Hips don't lie.
Classics. I think those songs really bridged the gap between Latin music and mainstream pop, like her album Laundry Service back in 2001.
Which has songs in both English and Spanish, right?
Yeah. And it sold like over 18 million copies.
Whoa. That's insane.
It was a cultural phenomenon.
Totally. And speaking of culture, something I find really interesting about both Shakira and Karol G is how they've used their music to, process their personal lives.
Oh, yeah. Especially their high-profile relationships and breakups. It's like all out there in their music.
Shakira split from Gerard Piqué. That was huge news.
And then came the diss track, B's Your P Music Sessions, Volume 53.
Ooh, that one was fiery. I think anyone who's ever gone through a tough breakup felt that one.
Seriously. She turned her pain into art. And a global hit, too.
For sure. Now, Karol G's relationship with rapper Anuel AA, it ended more quietly, I think. But, songs like Amargura.
Yeah, definitely hint at some heartbreak there.
Makes you wonder if it's like a requirement on Latin pop.
Gotta have a heartbreak anthem.
Maybe. But, beyond the heartache, both of these women have built incredible careers. I mean, Shakira's net worth is estimated at like $320 million.
Wow.
Decades in the industry, tons of album sales, endorsements with huge companies like Pepsi and Oral-B.
She even has her own perfume line, right?
Yeah. And she's smart with investments too, apparently.
She's a total boss.
Right. And while Karol G's career is definitely younger, she's doing amazingly well too.
Her net worth is already something like $80 million.
And growing. Chart-topping music, brand partnerships with companies like Adidas and Crocs.
Plus, she's really tapped into that whole digital world, social
Yeah.
media, streaming.
Totally. And we can't forget her album Mañana Será Bonito, which was the first all-Spanish album by a female artist to hit #1 on the Billboard 200.
Historic. Talk about breaking barriers.
Absolutely. It shows how much Latin music is taking over the world. Speaking of which, do you remember Shakira's Waka Waka?
The World Cup anthem. How could I forget?
It has like 4 billion views on YouTube.
Insane. Just like Karol G's Tusa with Nicki Minaj. Over 1.4 billion views.
They're both killing it globally.
No doubt. It's making me think about the business side of things, too. Like Shakira's El Dorado World Tour in 2018.
That was a huge tour.
It brought in a whopping $75 million.
Dang. But then Karol G's Mañana Será Bonito tour this year
Broke records. Over $100 million just in North America.
I read that she was the first Latina artist to headline stadiums in the U.S. That's incredible.
So it's inspiring. And then there's their online presence. I mean, Shakira has 90 million followers on Instagram.
Karol G has 70 million.
They're like royalty, queens of Latin pop.
And they both have such loyal fan bases. It's amazing. Makes me wonder, though, if there's even room for 2 queens on the Latin pop throne.
That's the big question, isn't it? To answer it, I think we need to look at their awards, their collaborations, the different legacies they're building. Okay, so let's talk awards. Both Shakira and Karol G have like walls full of them.
Shakira's career is so long, and she has the awards to prove it. I mean, 3 Grammys.
12 Latin Grammys.
It's amazing.
And it's not just like the quantity, it's the range too.
Oh, yeah.
Like her collaborations show how versatile she is. Think Beautiful Liar with Beyonce, Can't Remember to Forget You with Rihanna.
Didn't she do a song with Wyclef Jean, too?
Yeah, hips don't lie. She can blend genres and styles so effortlessly.
And let's not forget her performances. That Latin Grammy performance with Alejandro Sanz was electrifying.
Right. And her duet with Maluma was amazing.
It seems like she can collaborate with anyone and just turn it into gold.
She really has this gift for connecting with artists from all different backgrounds. It says a lot about her talent and her appeal.
For sure. Now, Karol G, her career's a bit shorter, but she's catching up fast.
Oh, yeah. She's already got a few Latin Grammys.
And a bunch of Billboard Music Awards, too, right?
Right. She's really making a name for herself in the urbano scene.
Her collaborations are seriously impressive, too. Working with Bad Bunny on Ahora Mi Lama.
Nicki Minaj on Tusa.
Those were huge for her.
Put her on the map internationally, I think.
Totally. And then there's TQG. That collab with Shakira was, wow.
It was a moment.
It was like the music world stopped and took notice.
I think it solidified Karol G's position. Like she's a global force to be reckoned with.
It felt almost like a passing of the torch. Like Shakira welcoming Karol G to the top tier of Latin pop. What do you think?
I think that's a great point. It wasn't just a collaboration, it was symbolic. A celebration of Colombian talent, of female power in the music industry.
Right. It makes me wonder if that's why it resonated so much with people. Because it was bigger than just a song.
I think so. It showed the world that there's room for more than one queen, you know? And that's what's exciting about this era of Latin music.
Yeah.
You have Shakira, this legend who paved the way.
And Karol G, building on that foundation, bringing in her own style.
It's not a competition, it's like a synergy.
I love that. It really makes you think about their legacies, though.
Mm-hmm.
How will each of them be remembered in music history?
That's a great question. I mean, we've covered their backgrounds,
Yeah.
Their relationships, their financial empires, their chart-topping hits, their tours, their social media followings, their streaming numbers, their awards, their collaborations.
Yep.
We've seen how Shakira has shaped Latin pop for decades. Mm-hmm. And we've seen how Karol G is bringing something new to the table.
Right.
So where do we go from here?
Yeah, what's next?
Well, to really understand their impact, I think we need to dig deeper into their music, the messages they convey, how they're inspiring a whole new generation of artists and fans.
What really strikes me is how both Shakira and Karol G have become like symbols of female empowerment, especially for Latina women.
Totally.
They've both had to navigate this, male-dominated industry.
Oh, yeah.
But they've done it with so much grace and strength. It's really inspiring.
It really is. And I think their music reflects that strength, too. Think about some of Shakira's early hits, like Whenever, Wherever.
Yeah.
It's all about owning your power, your sensuality.
And then you have Karol G with songs like Bichoka,
Yes.
which is all about self-love, confidence, being in charge of your own story.
Powerful message.
It's really cool. And it's not just their music. They both use their platforms to speak out about important things.
Oh, yeah. Shakira's Pies Descalzos Foundation, that's been doing amazing work for years.
Championing children's education, social justice.
And Karol G is super vocal about women's rights.
Challenging gender stereotypes in the Latin music industry.
They're both role models, showing young Latinos what's possible.
That you can achieve your dreams and still stay true to yourself.
Exactly. So going back to your question, is there room for two queens?
Yeah.
I think the answer is a resounding yes.
I agree.
They each bring something so unique to the table.
Yeah.
And their combined impact is undeniable. I mean, they represent different generations.
Different aspects of Latinidad.
Different approaches to music.
But they both share this commitment to excellence, to authenticity, to empowerment.
And that's what makes it so exciting. It's not about rivalry. It's about celebrating the richness of Latin music.
And acknowledging how much they've both contributed. They've earned their crowns, for sure.
Absolutely. And they're not done yet. They're both pushing boundaries, breaking down barriers.
Inspiring the next generation of Latina artists. It's incredible.
It's a testament to, the resilience and the creativity and the spirit of Latino women.
So well said. Any final takeaways for our listeners today?
I would just say, whether you've been a Shakira fan forever or you're just discovering Karol G, take a moment to really appreciate their stories. They show us what's possible when you combine talent and determination, and how music can truly change the world.
Beautifully put. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of Shakira and Karol G. Until next time, keep the music playing.